Hi everyone, thanks again for joining me on Sealed for Good. Today we're talking about how to waterproof over existing tiles. Now, we've been pioneers in this area for many years because we developed the Gripset OP, and that product was developed for tiling over tiles. And so those of you that have used the primer understand how easy it is. It's no hazards, you lay it down, dries very quickly, and it allows you to bond a tile over an existing glazed tile or put a membrane over an existing glazed tile. However, there are things you need to be aware of before you go and tackle any project with these existing tiles and you go and think, I can just go and waterproof that. Even though we've got the systems for it, you need to be aware of where the hazards and where the pitfalls may be. Let's start with wall tiling. If you're going to tile, let's say you've got a bathroom application and you think to yourself, okay, this is quite solid, I can waterproof over these tiles and then tile, but you need to do two things. Firstly, you need to understand the state of the tiles that are on the wall. Are they solid? Are they sound? Have you tested them? Because if they're not, that could compromise what you put on top afterwards, and if you accept the surface, you inherit the issues. But more importantly is also understanding the type of tile you're going to retile with, how that's going to go from a weight loading perspective, and what membrane would you use for that. So these are things that you need to understand first. Ask. There are specialist tiling consultants out there that can help you. We can also give you some guidance on that, or ask your client if your client's asking you to do that, particularly if it's a builder or an architect. The next one I want to talk about is flooring. This comes up frequently. Many of you have seen many photos of our systems, whether you're using the Gripset OP directly over tiles or even our BRW PF that's bonded directly to tiles to waterproof existing tiled surfaces, understanding firstly where the risks lie. Now, if we've got an external area or we've got an existing bathroom, but particularly external areas, and it's absorbed a lot of moisture, particularly if there's a screed underneath that tile bed, now you may have the correct falls, you may have enough heights, you may be able to comply with the standard to lay your tiles and meet the requirements. However, have you understood potentially what you've trapped underneath those tiles? So you could go ahead and waterproof over the tiles and then find your membranes blistered. And that could be still residual moisture underneath the tiles that comes through the grout joints and could blister your membrane. So in a situation like that, after you've cleaned the surface, it may not be a job for Gripset OP, it may be a job for the Gripset E60, and with the Gripset E60 we do have a specification where you can mix it with a sand mix to thicken it up, and it actually can act as a filler in those grout joints, particularly if you've got deep grout joints or wide grout joints, and that'll fill those pores up and blocks out the chance of any moisture impacting your membrane finish before you lay your tiles down. The other part is you may not be able to do those jobs in the middle of winter if there's just constant moisture and there may have been an existing membrane underneath those tiles, and you can sense with a moisture meter on the tile that there's a lot of retained moisture in those tiles. You shouldn't just go and trap it. It's different if there's moisture can escape from the other side, but in these applications it's very rare that can happen, and so you need to understand that you may not be able to tackle it at that time of year. You need to allow the evaporation of it, you need to find a window when the weather's good, and then you get that moisture reduction down before you then go and seal it. And then you apply the membrane of choice. Now, if you've got also tiles that you think are sound, you've got no moisture issues, and it's a big area, take the time to check out all the stability of the tiles, because you might find there's a couple drummy tiles around the place, and you pull one drummy tile off, and it's a domino effect, and then others start to get loose. And if you don't address that, you might think that's going to cost you more, but if you don't address that now, it's going to come back to bite you later, because it'll make tiles drummy on the final job, and also will compromise the membrane bond and finish. So there are systems like our express lay sheet that acts as a decoupling sheet on top of those sorts of applications, but still you run the risk of a potential drummy tile issue underneath. So best way is, as you know, our thought process: remove tiles, surface preparation, patch it. You can patch that tile that's come out with things like 11Y DM to level off with the rest of the tile bed, and then start the membrane application. Time taken to do these parts properly at the start will save you lots of time and money afterwards, and ensure that our industry is seen as a quality trade. We know what we're doing and we're adding value to the client. If you'd like to know more about any of our products and systems on how to use it for an application where you're going over existing tiles, 1-800-650-435, or get to that website or our email address now, or ask any of our tech services guys or sales guys out on the road. Until next time on Sealed for Good, I'll see you then. Be part of that change.